And yes, boys and girls, I'm afraid today's video is not clickbait. It is true, we are shipping the Tokay Gecko off today, the Super Red. Super Red will be leaving us. I'm gonna keep this part a little bit brief. I just wanted to show her off one last time for you guys, and we're actually gonna be packing her up and shipping her out, and then I'm gonna have future Dakota kind of explain to you what's going on. And here she is, absolutely gorgeous girl. Of course, the time we are saying goodbye to the Super Red, unlike every other time we've shown her off in the little bit, she's fired up for us. A really good send-off showing her in all her core beauty. Damn, I'll miss this gecko. Alright, let's get it over with. Okay, so one last look of the Super Red Tokay Gecko. Hey boys and girls, it's been a couple of days now since the Super Red has left us, or maybe a week at this point. I really don't understand time as a concept with me being down here so much of when days become other days. At this point, if you guys are actually a Patreon member, you would already know that this guy is gone and what our future plans are. That's right, for as little as $1 a month, you can watch your dreams of me making a world's first combination be crushed before even the public gets to hear about it. The link is right down there in the description. I wish there was some like cool nuance excuse I could give for selling the Super Red off in order to keep us going over here. I wish there was something that would make like a really cool video, but that's not it. It's a simple reason. I simply sold the Super Red because I needed money. Now I guess it is a little bit of a nuance because it's not I need the money in a way that you would be thinking of, like we're going broke over here. Now while the market has not been very kind to old Dakota, we're still keeping our head above water, and that's kind of the game truck we are going to be doing for the next year to 2 years whenever the market finally evens itself out. We're just going to be struggling a little bit. I'm no stranger to struggling, and once it evens out, we'll be putting ourselves in a better place. But in fact, the market itself is the reason I sold the Super Red, but it's not the way that you think. Game plan started about 2 months ago. I got word that a yearly Tokay Gecko shipment is coming in, but due to the market, the prices of Tokay Gecko morphs that would be in the, let's say $1,200 to $2,500 range are now going for the triple digit. That means instead of spending thousands on one gecko, I spend hundreds on one gecko. Now that was something that really piqued my interest. Old Dakota, anyway, because the market right now is kind of a double-edged sword. While it's really hard for us to sell geckos over here, it is really easy for me to get absolutely incredible Tokay Gecko morphs for a steal of a price. Geckos that would be listed in the, let's say, $1,200 to $2,500 range are now being listed in the triple digits, only hundreds of dollars, which makes it a very prime time for me to take this step and get us to the next level when it comes to our Tokay Gecko breeding project. Kind of my game plan for this thing, and I kept it a secret for quite a few of you, was like, okay, so we'll downsize the crested. That was kind of already planned, as I wanted to get a little bit lower my new cow and kind of focus more on my Super Dalmatians, except for some of the Tokay Gecko morphs, or I'm sorry, the crested gecko morphs that we have that we just recently got in. Since I get messaged almost daily to weekly of, do you have ready to breed females, ready to breed male crested? So I want this and that, but I want it to be an adult. I assumed, hey man, this won't be a problem. I can sell some of these off real fast. We'll have the money and we can make this importation happen. That was not the case. As the months went on and old Dakota got a little bit more worried each time, the prices of these crested geckos dropped lower and lower until the bare minimum of what I would need if I sold all of them in order to afford what I already ordered. And after all that time, all those sales, the buy one get one free, buy one get one half off, geckos half off, we sold a total price of 0 adult geckos. I have no idea what's making that noise. The frog, but it stopped as soon as I started walking over there. Anyway, about $200 out of the thousands that I needed for this order, it came down to dial in on what was going to happen. Was I going to lose money and then not get the geckos that I have on or ordered on top of that? Or was I going to figure out a game plan? If you guys know old Dakota, you know I always come up with a game plan. By the way, these crested geckos are still for sale, though. I am downsizing regardless, just because crested geckos, I just don't want this many. I'd rather have some cooler stuff for availability. So crested geckos like this white wall here are still available, and they are still at that reduced price, just because I now understand that that the market is not very kind for selling right now. And now don't get me wrong here, this was not an easy decision for me to make. I knew if there is one thing in my collection where I can make a lot of money very quickly, it would be the Super Red. That would be the one gecko in my collection that I know, like, that I could sell. And now this decision did not come easily. This is actually a very difficult decision that I had many phone calls with breeder friends that also do tokays, and the consensus was, at the end of the day, the consensus was, Dakota, this will be much better. This is a great business strategy for you. You are basically trading one gecko mutation for 5 gecko mutations. You're gonna be in a much better place in the 2024-2025 season. You'll be creating visual Tokay Gecko morphs instead of just this head and then what you have. This is a good deal. Took a lot of convincing and reinsurance, but I ended up doing it. I had to. It's the game plan. It's not really. Are there regrets? I guess that's the question. I guess we'll find out when I see the Tokay Gecko shipment. And one of my Patreon supporters who, I'm not sure if they want me to tell their name, so I won't. I'll put it in the comment, a pinned comment, if they do actually want me to talk about them. They actually messaged me immediately. They were like, hey, I've actually been a Patreon member for you for years now, waiting for a Super Red baby to become available. I would love to buy her. I gave one constituent because I did let her go for a very good price because it's the money that I needed more quickly. And that was the fact that when you have babies available, I am the first one that gets to buy a baby back. So Super Red will be coming back for us in 2025, as long as they honor their word, which I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I got your shipping. No, I'm just kidding. It's a bit of a loss right now, especially with the gecko shipment still not coming for a couple of weeks. I just feel like a little empty inside, knowing that I won't be able to get a quick glimpse of a Super Red gecko as it then darts off and to be hidden for the rest of the week. It is a little bit sad. We will see at some point at the end of July if this was a good decision or a bad decision. I believe wholeheartedly it is the best business-minded decision, and it's the best for what I really want to be doing, and that is the Tokay Gecko project, but only time will find out. Now, as we talk more and more business, we really got into, of course, my other love and passion, and that's going to be the Bioactive Expansion that we recently did. This one I am a lot more business oriented in and figuring out how to best make this part of the business really flourish and keep going and going up, and with the type of marketing and stuff I've been doing, we've kind of reached a stalemate. I've really only done one and only one avenue of marketing, and that is, of course, using social media people. And by using social media people, I mean myself jamming down Project Jungle as far as I can down the viewers' throats until they buy from me. That has been effective. It is going to lead to a cap at the end of the day. There are only so many people following Old Dakota. There's only so many people that follow and actually like Dakota. And then there's only so many people that follow, like Dakota, want to support him and want to get cool plants from him versus all the other people that are also doing this. While I probably am the absolute best reptile YouTuber if you focus on a very specific niche of gecko breeding, and that is Tokay Gecko breeding morphs, that a guy that also has some geckos, I'm willing to take that title. It can only get me so far in the game. At the end of the day, when it comes to Bioactive Expansion, Dakota, I'm a little dog. I'm a little puppy swimming in a lake when there is an ocean full of ocean. A lot of big dogs out there. We know who they are. I will not say their names because then you'll go to their big dogs out there, and I gotta get my name out there, which means that we need to start doing actual marketing and advertising, which means paying for ads to go through, reaching a wider audience so more people will know that, hey, we are doing this and we have these products available. What does that also cost? It costs a lot of money to advertise. Depending on the business strategy I'm going with this, it is going to cost me a lot of money, which means in order to take this to the next level and get us a little bit more cash flow positive and a little bit more in a steady place, well, I got to spend money to make money. Now, while I know probably a lot of you guys are thinking, oh wow, Dakota, you're a real piece of shit, I absolutely hate you and I'm unsubscribing, others are probably thinking to themselves, Dakota, that's a bummer. We actually do pity you and like you a little bit, and it's just a bummer that you won't be trying to create a Tokay Gecko world's first combination. And well, that's not the case. We're actually still going to do it. We're actually still going to be on track to do it, but to even further it more, by 2027, if I play my cards right with these, we'll actually be producing somewhere around 2 to 3 world's first combinations, depending on if anyone beats me. Now, of course, when I talk about this, I talk about United States captive born. The guys in Korea, Indo, all those, they're beating us a lot with the Tokays. Been doing it a lot longer. But when it comes to the US stuff, I will be producing quite a few world's first over here in just a couple of years. Which leads us to the finale of this video. What's next for the Tokays? I bet this whole time you're wondering what's in my pocket right here. It's my vape. So, what's next? What's the next big brain idea that old Dakota has cooking up? Well, it's the fact that we still will be doing a world's first combination. It'll be a little bit more difficult, and I don't want to give too many surprises away, but I will give you this one. That's the fact that we took our Het Platinum and actually put her in here, where we will still be pairing the Het Platinum to the Candy Dot. Considering that both of these are a recessive morph, while the Super Red was potentially an incomplete dominant, I still don't fully understand. Some people say recessive, some people say incomplete dominant. I don't know which one is which. I guess we'll know in a year when the guy produces some. The plan is now going to be pairing the Het Platinum to the Candy Dot Tokay, and although this will only give us a 50% pos Hetford Platinums, the fact is that, well, this is a Het Platinum, which means if we do pair it to the Tokay Gecko, there will be a 100% Candy Dot, 50% possible Het for Platinum. The Platinum actually has an identifiable marker to understand if it is Het, and that is the fact that, as you can see with our Platinum girl, she has bright yellow spots. And a hypothesis for that, you know, just thinking about it, it would mean as long as I grow these guys a little bit more up, I'll be able to tell which one has the Het and which one does not. Hopefully. It is still a bit of a gamble to see what would really happen, but as long as we hold back a big group and I check out which ones, I think I can get a pretty good shot of holding one back, and then of course doing line breeding back to get that, well, to get the world's first Tokay combination, that being a Candy Dot Platinum. The other stuff I'm not going to talk about yet. I do want to keep it a little bit more of a surprise. Just know, some stuff is going to be moving. This girl will be moving. I don't think she seems happy about that idea. And then, of course, this tank is empty as soon as we ship off that male Platinum that was on loan for us. So we'll have these filled with brand new Tokay Gecko mutations, and we will also be adding more cages onto this side, which will lead us to the other Tokay Gecko mutations. So while, yes, the Super Red is a pretty big loss for us over here, at the end of the day, I traded that Super Red Tokay Gecko for eight Tokay Gecko mutations, stuff that's coming in with shipments and a couple of other people, and also advertising space for Dakota, so we can get our name out there and build this bioactive business a little bit further than where I would like it. So if you see an ad, click on it and buy something. It will help me. Or just buy something now. That also helps me. Probably comes as a surprise to some of you guys. You know, this is a thing that we've been working towards for 3 years, and although I'm being a little bit nonchalant about it, it's because I've had all the time to really think this through. I've shipped the gecko off. Like, I actually think it's been like more than a week. I don't really remember, but it's been a little bit of time for me to kind of like process the grief of investing so much time into that one gecko just to sell it. It was a very tough decision. It was one I really mulled over for a long time. It wasn't my first choice, but hey, nobody wants crested geckos. So I had to have a backup plan to keep this place going into the right direction. For the rest of this stuff, Patreon members, you'll see it first when I first get my hands on it, and then later on I will eventually show it off to you guys, and then we'll really talk about the game plan for the end of 2024, because some of them are breeder ready, some of them I'm going to pair within weeks, and then some of them will probably need to be rehabituated and established into captivity until at that point, probably late 2024 to early 2025, those guys will be paired. A lot of exciting stuff with the Tokay Geckos. I know I finally got it through my thick head that people just want Tokay Geckos from me. I'm the Tokay Gecko guy, so we're getting what you guys want. I swear to God, after all those messages of Dakota, where are the Tokays? We want the Tokays, Dakota. Give us the Tokays, Dakota. And now that I get you your Tokays, you all are gonna be like, oh, just kidding, Dakota. We want cresteds. Get more we want cave geckos, Dakota. What do you... As always, boys and girls, if you wanted more of these videos or see the actual enclosure that we made for the Super Red, check out the Super Red 1-1 last time, or just revisit. I'll have that video there, or the 79.7 Tokay Gecko video playlist that we have right here. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to follow us over here at Dakota Blue Exotics. I will see you guys next time, but until then, goodbye.